Good evening and welcome to the Cabinet meeting of the London Borough of Hammersmith and Fulham for the 16th of June 2025. My name is Stephen Cowan. I'm the leader of the borough, and I'm going to start by introducing some of the Cabinet, but can I start by welcoming Councillor Shavop Verdier to his new position as Cabinet Member for the Public Realm. So welcome, Florian. And it starts with you. Would you like to say your name and title, and then we'll work our way around?
Good evening. I'm Councillor Florian Schwab-Verdier, and I'm the Cabinet Member for Public Realm.
You are indeed.
Thank you, Leader. Hi, everyone. I'm Councillor Francis Ume, Cabinet Member for Housing and Homelessness.
Good evening. Councillor Rowan Ree, Cabinet Member for Finance and Reform.
Good evening. I'm Councillor Alex Sanderson, and I'm the Deputy Leader.
Good evening, I'm Councillor Rebecca Harvey, Cabinet Member for Social Inclusion and Community Safety.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Councillor Wesley Harcourt, Cabinet Member for Climate Change and Ecology.
Great. Could I welcome, and here he is. So before I do that, and with great suspense, I will ask the final Cabinet Member tonight to introduce himself.
The Cabinet Member for Enterprise and Skills. Thank you. Zerar Kale.
It is indeed. Can I also welcome Councillor Alford? It's a pleasure to see you here again, and thank you for coming to scrutinise this. I do appreciate it. We also have Sharon Lee, the Chief Executive, Grant Degg, not Degg Grant. That's my dyslexia kicking in. Grant Degg, the monitoring officer, and we're supported very ably by a number of officers who are also in the room. So thank you very much for that. I will move on first of all then to the first item, which is policies for absence. Do we have any? I have them from Councillor Bora Kwan, and again, thank you, Bora, and we wish you well. And apologies for lateness, Councillor Andrew Jones. Are there any other? There's no other apologies, so I'll close that. Declarations of interest. Are there any? In which case, the minutes of the previous meeting. Everyone's perused those. Anything from them? Are they therefore agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you. And then Hammersmith and Fulham Food Plan, item number 4, and that's over to you, Councillor Sanderson.
Thank you very much. The Hammersmith and Fulham Food Plan 2025-2030 promotes a healthier, fairer and greener food system by tackling food poverty, cutting waste and improving access to nutritious food across the borough. It focuses on community partnerships, sustainable practices and measurable goals like boosting fruit and veg intake and reducing emissions to make sure our residents are happy and healthy.
Are there any questions to the Cabinet Member? Any other comments from anybody? Councillor Harcourt.
Thank you, Leader. This is a very important document in that it has a major impact as well on the work we're doing around climate change. Sustainability of food sources and such like is incredibly important, not least of all the effect it has on the health and such like, as Councillor Sanderson has just reminded us. It's a major part of the wastage, general waste that comes out, so 30-something% of that is that. But at the moment, any food waste that comes in is being collected and it's going to anaerobic digestion, which produces gas and also fertiliser, so it's reused.
Thank you very much, Councillor Harcourt. Anybody else? Okay, is that item agreed?
Agreed.
Thanks very much. Item 5, procurement of Hammersmith and Fulham's genitourinary medicine offer. And we are happily staying with Councillor Sanderson.
Thank you. From food plan to gum. It's a wild portfolio this evening. So this report just details the procurement of the gum services in Hammersmith and Fulham, which is a pan-London agreement. So seeking approval to move forward.
Are there any questions on that? Yes.
Not really a question, more of a comment to give a bit of a shout out to 10 Hammersmith Broadway, heavily featured in this report, who have been great in distributing Mpox vaccines in the community.
Good point. Thank you, Councillor. Right, is that item agreed?
Agreed.
Thanks very much. We then move on to item number 6, adopting the H&F Council Housing Retrofit Strategy. And I have great pleasure in introducing Councillor Umey.
Thank you very much, Leader. I think we all can agree that we want our residents to live in homes that are decent, safe and warm. And so this report is recommending to Cabinet that we adopt a retrofit strategy which will focus on improving the energy efficiency of council housing stock. So the strategy itself focuses on data decision-driven making, sustainability, as well as reducing carbon emissions. It's been done in partnership with Councillor Harcourt, who I also believe wants to add a few words. In essence, it's going to focus on reducing full poverty for residents in the borough, but also ensuring that we have homes that are safe, warm and decent.
Thanks for your introduction. Are there any questions? Councillor Alford.
Thank you very much. I'll try and keep them brief as usual. One, yes, I mean, I think it's an excellent idea, so I'm not jibbing at anything on that. A couple of sort of minor queries. One is about the consultation, because I've been through so many schemes we've done where residents get very worried, and particularly leaseholders, about the additional costs. And I would like to ask the Cabinet to ensure that the costs are rigorously investigated to make sure that there are no excess charges that go to leaseholders, because it has a tremendous impact on them, because leaseholders are not necessarily wealthy and they have to find the extra funds. So I'm really just requesting and asking that there is, as always, as you tell me, very careful monitoring of the funds, that they are not wasted.
Yes, I'll let Councillor Umey answer that question, but I'll happily come in at the end of that too.
Yeah, I think what we're trying to do here is ensure that we have homes that are of a decent standard, of course, for all of our residents and leaseholders. And I think through this process, we've ensured that even with the pilot projects, we've taken extensive consultation on board. So listening to our tenants as well as our leaseholders to figure out the most cost-effective way to do this. I mean, we have aging housing stock, which makes it very challenging to ensure that we retrofit these properties. So we're using government funding for the projects that we've already initiated, and we're thinking about ways in which we can be as cost effective as possible for our leaseholders too.
You may not be able to answer this one if I could have it in writing. I didn't get the written response to my last question at the last Cabinet meeting, but by the way, will you be doing sort of extended payment plans for leaseholders? Will that be something you'll be considering in the, I'd call it extended payment plans, but it may not be quite the right way to describe it. As you do with large major works, will you be considering a similar setup?
We will consider all possible viable options when it comes to retrofitting, because we understand the challenges that are faced here, but it's really important because we have our net zero emissions agenda that we need to focus on. I mean, climate change, the climate crisis are real issues. So we're doing our very best to make sure that we are sort of rising to the challenge of the climate change agenda, but at the same time, thinking about the different means that are possible to support our leaseholders too.
Yeah, no, these are very good points, and I'm glad you're asking them. You and I will both remember a previous era where leaseholders were giving huge costs, and the costs were unfathomable in comparison to what you could get on the market, or indeed what you could get for such small buildings, which often leaseholders had if they were in a flat as part of a larger block. And so there has been a cultural shift on changing that under successive administrations to actually tackle those costs and get to the real nitty-gritty of what is good value for money. It's a challenge with leaseholders often enough because there are leaseholders who, as you know, who bought their flats often from someone else who bought their flat earlier, and so a big bill can be very different. So two things is, one, the retrofit agenda is about reducing costs overall. You know, you look around the energy insecurity of the country, you look at the rates of energy prices increasing. It's become a main topic of public discourse in recent years. More effective heating and insulation options, whether it's electric solar panels or ground source heat pumps, or just simply making the building more energy efficient, are all measures which bring down bills. So we're very, very keen that we get that value into these sometimes very old buildings, and you have to do the whole building. The second, so cost is at the center of our thinking, and reducing it for our residents, be they a leaseholder or a tenant. That's the point of this retrofitting, as well as meeting climate change goals. The second point is then how do you pay for it? And yes, where there are major capital works, we need to work with people to make sure that it's possible. We're not in the business of giving people financial hardship, quite the opposite. And so both those points are well made, and I thank you for them. Are there any other points on this paper? Councillor Harcourt.
Thank you. As Councillor Yume said, this is a joint paper between the two of us, because obviously housing and retrofit of the housing is a major aspect of the work that we're doing in terms of our target to reach net carbon zero by 2030. This particular strategy sets forward what is known as a fabric first approach. We're looking at insulating the building, making sure that the windows, doors and such like are airtight so there's no loss of heat. And that's the work that's going to be done before the second stage, when we start looking at things like low carbon heating and such like. All of these are designed to reduce the energy requirements of these buildings, reduce the emissions that come from them, and in so doing you've got better quality housing, warm housing, but at the same time lower fuel bills for our residents who are living within them. I take on board the points that have been made as well about leaseholders.
Absolutely. Thanks for that. If there's no more questions from anybody of any type, then I would just ask, is this item agreed?
Agreed.
Thanks very much. Item 7 is the forward plan of key decisions. I'd be grateful if you'd all note those. And if you've tuned in, I thank you for taking the time to do that. If